So here are some of the features of a functional language. Now there's three good ones and then there's one you're going to hate. So the first is that functional languages treat functions as objects or variables or something of that nature. They can be passed around, they can be composed, they can be used as arguments, stored. These are all things that functional languages focus on, again, is the function itself. So think of a function as a variable itself. The other interesting part is higher order functions. These are functions that take other functions as parameters for it to know how to do its job. In Java, we use comparators. That actually accepts another function to figure out how you want to compare or sort your data list. In C++, there's something very similar. So that's the other neat part about it. The other part that I have right here really in it is the overall discernation or solution of how we would use nested functions in all this. In just like math, you know the most inner set of parentheses is supposed to be completed first. Same idea. This is a math-based programming language. So as you see display, map, and reverse, reverse is going to be first, and then map is going to solve, and then we'll display the result of all the other ones before that. That's very consistent to what you actually have seen in some of the programming languages you've already dealt with. So notice, even if it is imperative with C++, Java, Python, there's a lot of functionality in it as well. Purity. Purity is, I'll just leave it at that, but purity means it's supposed to prohibit side effects, which means changing a value stored in memory. Now, it's supposed to do that. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but let me get to the last part, and that's recursion. I know the dreaded recursion, but think about it. Just in C++, Java, whatever you've done before. In the list, just a recursive data structure, it's the same thing, except for there is a minor difference on the count. And there is going to be an end eventually. That's what recursion is. Recursion is how we are going to traverse our data lists in our functional programming language. In reality, the for loop is recursive because it's doing the same thing over and over again until there is an end, isn't it? So this has a big feature of recursion in our functional programming language, and we're going to have a whole week on just going over this as well because this is not easy. Let's put it that way. So that's the last big feature of our functional languages.